Hey guys, Angela from Ash Meadow Studio, and I am here today to show a journal that I created for a group, Alternative Junk Journals, is the group that I'm in, and we are doing this month a swap for a dark fairy tale / fantasy type journal. And I went back and forth trying to figure out a fairy tale to do, and even though I know it's not a fairy tale, I wound up doing Peter Pan. And I think instead of going so dark, even though the original story is kind of dark, I actually really went off in left field and kind of did more of a fantasy type story twist on it. There's a lot of different fan theories out there on it, on how it was actually pretty dark, and the original in 1902 was actually pretty sinister and dark in a lot of ways. It goes as the Peter Pan would kill the Lost Boys as they got older, and that is a fan theory, is that is why Captain Hook is always out to get Peter Pan, is because Peter Pan actually tried to kill Captain Hook. He brought Captain Hook to Neverland when he was a child, and as he got older, he tried to kill him, and he wound up chopping his hand off. So of course Captain Hook's pretty pissed off about that, and so he's always out to get Peter Pan. And it's just a fan theory, but that is sort of what I went with. This journal is Wendy's personal journal. It's a take. It's something that she created with the things she found on the island. Well, that was the original idea. This is like a vintage potato sack because I figured pirates ate a lot of potatoes, and this is to represent some of the fishing line, and this is, she made a little tassel with strips from her nightgown and ribbon from her hair, and some shells she found on the beach, and stones from the path, and a couple of beads she found from, you know, a pirate's old shirt. And I even used some fishing tackle throughout the journal for hooks to hold things down. And that's how it started. And this is the ribbon from her hair. Evidently it was a really long ribbon, but that's what she used to hold her journal together. But then as I started going, I did as I do, and a lot of us probably do, and I pulled out the sewing machine and the glues and the ribbons and the inks and all the things, and it has a life of its own. So anyway, this is it from the side, and it's got several dangles on here. I've got skull and crossbones. There's like a pirate sword here. This is dangling off of some paper in there, but this is it, the full thing from top. And let's open it up and get into it. So the inside of it, this is just some seam binding I colored to hopefully represent the color of her hair, her ribbon. And I covered the inside of it with coffee dyed paper and some lace. And this is a picture of her when she started her journal. And it just says on the first page, it says, first entry, "Boy, this place is amazing. I pulled away the ivy and the long strands hid a cave. It sparkled like a million fireflies. It was like nothing I'd ever seen before. So I sit here in my secret hideaway using things I've found around the island to make a book so I can record all of my great adventures. The ribbon from my hair will hold you together quite nicely. I really miss my mom, but my birthday is next week and I'll be the oldest on the island. I wonder why that really is. Peter says we can't ever grow up, but that just seems silly. Now he's acting a little odd and isn't talking to me much, though. I bet he's just planning a wonderful party to celebrate. Talk to you soon, diary, Wendy." Kind of wrote it like a, 14-year-old girl. So anyway, this is on tea stain paper, and then I printed her feet off on vellum. And this is some digital echo prints. I got that from TaylorMadeJournals, and I've got several in here, and they're beautiful. And so I didn't cover them up. I think they're absolutely gorgeous just the way they are. And then this is her beloved England that she will be leaving. It's just a flip tag journaling spot. And I left lots of journaling space inside. And like I said, right off the bat, out comes the lace. This is her sitting at the window, wishing for adventures, and she has no idea what she's about to get into. And throughout the book, there are quotes from the original book, and I decoupaged them all on the page. I like the way it looks more than digital stamping. I mean, I love digital stamping, don't get me wrong, but it's just what I prefer. So anyway, this one says, and there was a greedy look in his eye now, which ought to have alarmed her, but did not. And just an adventure tag, and this is just a pocket. And then there's also a tuck spot behind it. And that's him trying to get her up to go with him. And this is Wendy getting ready to leave England. She's standing on top of the buildings. And it's another journaling card. And then this is the back of Big Ben. And I just kind of did some sewing around that and created a little notepad with some more coffee stained papers. And the next page is some journaling spots, and this is just a little tag that says, "Here be the fairies." And she's now arrived on the island. And this is a tag, another one of the fishing, I think they're called fishing, they're swivels maybe, but anyway, and it's just a little saying about fairies and an explanation of fairies, and it comes off, and it's just a little journaling card. And then another picture of fairies that comes out. It's another journaling spot. And then this is the back. It'll come off. It's actually holding that down on the other side. And it's just a clip that I made. And it's got a little quote on it. It says, "Children, children, don't forget." And it's a little quote about always looking for elves and fairies, because they're always out and around. More of that eco-dyed paper. This is the other side of the vellum that I printed, and I did the ghost ship on this side. So it is, you can see it, it looks pretty cool on both sides. Print it out. Some tea stained paper. Another journaling card. I do believe in fairies. I do. And these pages, I love these. These are, they're called texture overlays, and they're by ATP Textures. And I have a lot of digital prints in here. I'll put it in the comments on the YouTube, on my YouTube video, so that you'll know who it, if I remember who all it is. A lot of these pictures and things I got from either Pinterest or DeviantArt, or just from Google, just straight Googling. This is another fairy, and it's a little flip. It just flips out on coffee dyed paper. And when you turn it over, it holds a little picture of Tink. She is laying in the bed. Second star to the right. Some more journaling spots. Okay, now, the whole time I have been working on this thing, the entire time, y'all, I have hummed or sang "Never Smile at a Crocodile." So in the journal, I had to give credit where credit is due. And so TikTok, of course, has this page. And it's just a little flip. I just stamped it and then sewed it on. And note, never smile. Never smile at the crocodiles. My brain, it goes its own little thing. It's just the clip. It just comes off. And a nod to the pirates. I didn't realize until I started doing this how much I actually love pirates. So you'll see. And then we go to the Lost Boys. So this is a tag. Just tuck some of this tuck spot here, or there's a tuck place in here, and it's just some messy sewing with some more tea-dyed paper and some tear-offs. Some more of that paper. And I can't remember where I got this from, but I will most definitely put it in the notes in the bottom. And the Lost Boys were a little dark, even in the books. They tried to kill her, they fight with her. So, and here is just a little flip journal card, flips up, and here's a flip. I thought this kind of looked like the Lost Boys all in a tree, following her around and kind of taunting her a little bit to play. And it flips up, journaling space here, of course. As you can tell, the sewing got a little out of hand, as it always does. Then off to the Mermaid Lagoon, where best saying in there in regards to them is we were only trying to kill her. And this is an envelope. Actually, it's Tracie Fox's from her fancy envelope collection. And just a very dark mermaid and some more of that. This is actually, you know, Halloween they have from the Dollar Tree. I got some of that black netting, and I do a big voodoo graveyard in my yard for Halloween, and I had a lot of this stuff. A lot. So anyway, I pulled it out. And just stained this up. Just a Velcro little envelope for things. This is stitched in tuck spot, and there's a belly band. There's a Rapture Mermaid. Another journaling spot there. And after trying to kill her, she's kind of sitting and contemplating in a tree what happened. A little experience tag. And then this, several times in the book, it's mentioned that Tinkerbell's dress was made from skeleton leaves, and Peter Pan's clothes had skeleton leaves on them, and Mrs. Darling had a skeleton leaf, you know, flow across the floor when she went in the room and found the children missing. So I took a piece of vellum and then printed, I don't know if you can see it, printed the skeleton leaf on it, and then fussy cut it out, and then put it in some laminating and try to make it like a little skeleton leaf specimen. So you'd have that. And then Tinkerbell, I do indeed love Tink, but this is the card that I made, and it opens up to do some journaling on, and that clips back in. And then this is one of the natives, and I did some messy sewing around there and mounted it on burlap and attached it, and then put some tea stain paper on the back of that. And here's another one of those overlays. They're gorgeous. Anyway, I love them. I love them. You're going to see them in a lot of my journals. That's all I can say. After what happened with the mermaids, everything started getting a little dark. So here is the fairies. It's a tuck spot, and let me grab something. Yeah, so it's a tuck spot up in here, and this is the mermaids, or not the mermaids, but the fairies kind of huddled together, kind of sad, dark, gloomy. I saw it, mounted it on some paper, and stuck it in there. It had to go. It had to be there. And then here is a tuck spot, and here's when she discovered that Tinkerbell was actually being kept in a lantern and wasn't being allowed to leave, and was actually held hostage. More journaling space. More journaling space. And from the book, it says, in the old days at home, the Neverland had always begun to look a little dark and threatening by bedtime. Then unexplored patches arose in it and spread. Black shadows moved about in them. The roars of beast of prey was quite different now. And above all, you lost the certainty that you would win. And so then it starts going a little darker. And here is Peter hanging from a clock in the moon. And here is, I kind of did her handwriting, and kind of a little cursive type thing, But it says, I see them hiding and hunting in the night. Today they followed me. Older boys, question mark. And I love this. I love this picture. And it's a journaling card. And then a quote from old Peter Pan. It says, you don't think I would kill him while he was sleeping. I would wake him first and then kill him. That's the way I always do. And this is Wendy looking up in the trees. She's getting a little bit more curious about what's going on the island. There's a little pocket and a tuck spot. And then Peter, great quote. Sometimes the people we should fear the most are the people closest to us. And that's again on some tea stain paper. There's Peter in a tree, and I made his 3 pockets. This is just a picture of Peter playing the flute. This is a long tag here. Goes all the way down into it. And a conversation that he had with one of the boys. It says, what is he like? Is he big? And he is not as big as he was. How do you mean? I said, I cut off a bit of him. So Peter's a little creepy. He can be a little creepy. And then here is, I just messy cut around the bottom of this, and it's Peter up in the tree walking around. It's a little tuck spot. And this was a painting of Peter Pan. And I created this pocket here, and then it's also with the deli paper down here at the bottom. And I watched Nikki, gosh, I can't remember her last name, but she just made a pocket, and she attached some twine to it, and I really like the look of it. And I'm trying to learn how to do this whole messy stitching because I'm OCD. So for me, anybody that knows me knows that's huge. So anyway, it is what it is. So, and then some more journaling spaces, and over here it says, in case you haven't noticed, I'm not the most well-behaved boy on the island. And then we get into the pirates, and this is another journaling card. It just says, pirates will be pirates. There's more of that, and it's throughout the vintage potato sack. I've got it kind of everywhere, and of course we had to pay homage to Captain Hook. And there's journaling space behind it, of course. And there's that bead with the sword. And on this side is another envelope that's just Velcro envelope to put things in. And I love this paper. This book is 3 signatures, so this is the center of the 3rd signature. And it's a tag I made. It's an octopus tentacle in a glass jar. And it's another journaling card in the back. And I made this to kind of, hopefully it represents a treasure chest. I'm hoping that was the goal anyway. And another journaling card of the shipmast. And open it up. Journaling spaces. I believe you should be able to write in journals. That should be what they're for. I love to decorate them, but writing is the way to go. Another pocket here, some more of that potato sack. And there's a tuck spot right here with a compass. And then a tag with a sword. And of course, all pirates have a treasure map. So you too have a treasure map. You should have told me trying to explain why the house smelled like smoke the day I made this. Good job. Okay. Anyway, it happens. More journaling space. Some more of that potato sack. And then I made this tag, and it's got a little dangle on it and a cap from a rum bottle. Because all pirates have rum. And another journaling card that's the Flying Jolly Roger. More journaling space. A flip out of a pirate skull. Treasure chest, very large tag. Of course, you can journal on the back of it, or behind it as well. And then we always wonder what happened to Wendy. You know, Wendy was getting ready to turn, I believe I have this written down, she was getting ready to turn 15. So she wound up running away and becoming a pirate. So this is my happy ending of a dark fairy tale, is Wendy is a pirate. But Peter is always watching her. And I just kind of made a raggedy with some leaves and made some fairy wings to represent Tinkerbell with the vellum wings and Peter peeking through. And that is my journal. So whoever gets it, I really hope that they like it. I hope they get it. It's not your traditional fairy tale for sure, but I love it, and I hope whoever gets it loves it as much. Thank you all for watching. If you managed to suffer through it, I appreciate it. And if you can give me a thumbs up and like or subscribe, I will have more. And I promise this is my first video speaking, but I'm going to get better at it. I swear I will.